Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, That Conversation with Repinya. And tonight I'm going to be reviewing Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 14. Alright you guys, you know what time it is. It's time to go over the three categories. And tonight we're going to start with the Librarians Honor Award. So let me see. Who was reading? Let me tell you who was reading. It was Candy. So I'm giving the Librarians Honor Award to Candy because in this episode, Marlo was cutting up and finally Candy got with her. Candy was telling her to leave her, basically to back off, you know. But she used some rather explicit words that I'm not going to use, but she really got with her. So good job, Candy. You get the Librarian Award. Next, we're going to go to Laden Slade. So I'm going to give Laden Slade to Miserable Marlo. I'm sorry. I'm going to give Laden Slade to Marlo. Because Marlo actually looked super fly when they went to the track. When her and Drew were going to go run the race. She had on a cute little sweat bottoms and like a little tank top, and her hair was super cute. So I'm going to give Laden Slade to Marlo. Now let's go to MVP. I'm actually going to give Candy MVP for this episode because, again, her finally getting Marlo back after Marlo just trash talked her almost this entire season. So MVP is going to none other than Candy Burris. Okay, you guys, so the episode starts off the morning after the fiasco and the fight between Marlo and Candy. So Candy is actually in her room getting dressed because they have an event. And she's talking to Todd, and she's telling Todd that she's done with Marlo. She's not messing with Marlo anymore. And I don't blame her because Marlo, she just cut too deep this time. So she's not messing with Marlo anymore. But Todd is like, you know what, babe, don't worry about it. You know, that's just Marlo. Just don't pay her any attention, you know. Just whatever with Marlo. Don't let her get you down. Okay, so in this scene, we see Sonya super excited because she wants to take everyone to the town where she grew up. So she's gathering everybody, getting everyone on the bus, and she's waiting on Kenya. Kenya was like the only one that was late, unfortunately. And I don't know why Kenya was late. It's weird because Bravo like panned over to Kenya in her room, and it kind of looks like she was just taking her time, you know, and everybody else was all ready and the group was waiting on her. So, you know, Sanya ended up calling Kenya like, hey, what are you doing? We're all waiting on you. And, you know, it's time sensitive because this is actually a work trip for Sanya. So Kenya was like, oh, okay, I'm coming. Sanya ended up just saying, you know what? We got to go. And Kenya said, that's fine. She's going to meet up with them later. So now we arrive to the home where Sanya grew up. And it was so cute because her mom's best friend still lives over there next door to the home where she grew up. And she came out and she's actually considered an auntie. So Sanya grew up calling her auntie. So she's like a bonus auntie. And it's her mom's best friend. So she came out and she greeted everyone. And she was like, whoa, because, you know, she saw the cameras, the, you know, RHOA cameras, and she was like, okay, like Sonya, you really made it, you know, because, you know, she has the Housewives of Atlanta cast with her. So it was like, oh, you really, you know, made it. So she was so proud of Sanya, and you can just see Sanya's face light up. She was like, you know, proud, like, you know what I mean, that she was able to bring back the cast to meet her auntie. Next, Sanya takes the group to Devon House. Now, this is a historical place where they sell like ice cream, and it's actually a plantation, an old plantation, where there were actual slaves there. And her parents got married on this plantation, And other people use it as a place to get married. It's just a place where they all go back to and they visit from time to time, and they have like this really good specialty ice cream place. So everybody got ice cream while they were there. And then we see that Kenya shows up. And during this time, I noticed that Sheree and Marlo actually took off on the side and start talking, and they start discussing what happened as far as the fight between Marlo and Candy. So Sheree was telling Marlo that she thinks that she could have, she kind of was too hard on Candy, and she kind of hit too low below the belt. And Marlo's like, well, she wants Candy to stay out of her business. Marlo was unapologetic about her behavior, and talking about Candy's husband, and bringing up all kind of crazy stuff. So Marlo was like, no, Candy needs to stay out of my business. So also, while they were at the ice cream place, Sanya did pull Kenya aside. She wanted to talk to her because Kenya was late to, I guess, to some of the events that she had planned. And Sanya pulled Kenya aside and talked to her. And she was like, well, she has a problem because she doesn't understand why Kenya has not shown up for her on this trip. So she was telling Kenya, you've been late and you just haven't shown up for me on this trip. And so Kenya started explaining to her that she's dealing with some things with Brooklyn and not wanting to see her dad, and just still the whole issue she's having with Mark. And then Sanya, with her shady self, get in her confessional, and she starts saying, oh, well, Kenya always brings up her daughter or Mark every time someone addresses her. And I don't know, I feel like Sanya, we know that this is what Kenya is going through in the moment, or is going through. And I feel like she should be able to express to you that, that's what's going on. Now, I do feel like Kenya, because she's normally prompt, she's one of the ladies that are always on time for these trips, for these cast trips. So, I mean, it is kind of strange that Kenya is late a lot. I mean, if it's not the editing. If she's really late, like they're showing on camera, it is kind of strange. So I do feel like Kenya, needs to be mindful, of not like holding up the group, because that's not right. At this time, they wrap it up there, and everybody starts heading back onto the bus, because now we're getting ready to go to the track. And everybody gets on the bus, and then you see Marlo get on the bus while Candy and Todd are sitting in like the bus. She goes through the aisle, and she kind of leans towards Candy, and she's like, oh, Candy, did you see that Simon bought Portia a Bentley? She's trying to talk to Candy, knowing that Candy is not talking to her. And Candy's like, why are you talking to me? And she's like, oh, you so childish. Are you still mad at last night? Marlo, yeah. You were disrespectful. Of course she's mad. Who wouldn't be mad? Really? I'm like, nobody gets over stuff. Like, especially on that level. That was low. So nobody's going to get over that in a day. So go on somewhere, Marlo. Go away. So Candy was like, stop talking to me. I'm not talking to you. And here we go. Marlo saying all kind of stuff, cussing again, and saying, grow up, Candy. No, you grow up, Marlo. Grow up. And leave her alone. Bye. So now we arrive to the track. So we have Drew and Marlo actually racing. So they're the two ladies that are going to be racing on the track. And before we get on the track, let me go back a little bit. Earlier, Sanya actually gave Drew an Olympic track top to wear, so she could run the race in one of the actual Olympic shirts. And for some reason, I don't know, Drew, she was kind of shading it, like, because she thought that Sanya was trying to throw digs at her, because Drew always says that she ran track in high school. So I think Sanya was just giving her an actual Olympian shirt so she can run in that shirt against Marlo. But I don't know, for some reason Drew took it as shade. I just think Drew is still holding on to the fact that Sanya has been coming for her. And everything Sanya tries to do, you know, out of the kindness of her heart, Drew is just like, nah, she's kind of like watching her. So Drew puts the shirt on, and so we get to the track, and Marlo and Drew get ready to run the race. So they run the race, and Marlo actually wins, but Marlo literally wins by like the tip of her shoe. But Drew was saying, no, I won, because normally when you lean your head in forward over the finish line, you're the winner. But no, Marlo won. You can clearly see that she won. And Marlo's super tall, so I see why she won. Like, she's way taller than Drew, so it seems like her legs was like running faster. So for some reason, Drew got super excited after the race. Everybody was kind of like cheering the girls on. Drew got excited and kind of ran to the side, and then she tripped and fell. I could not. At first I thought Drew was faking, but she wasn't. She literally tripped and fell, and she ruptured her Achilles. Now mind you, it seems like when she first got on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she had the other Achilles ruptured. So we find out later on that she actually did hurt the other Achilles. So Drew, come on. So in the next scene, Sanya actually has to work. She has to do an iFit photo shoot. And she actually invited Kenya and she invited Sheree to the shoot. So as Sanya got down to the lobby, she was looking for the ladies and she didn't see them there. However, Marlo showed up there. So she and Marlo went on over to the photo shoot. And she didn't ask or check to see where the girls were. She just left. So there were actually different activities going on while Sanya went and did her photo shoot with iFit. Candy, she went on and met up with Drew. Candy's gonna find a way to do some type of work. So she went to Drew's room because Drew, she's down for the count, because she hurt her foot. So she went and asked Drew to help her go over her lines for her script. And so Drew was like, okay, sure, I'll go over your lines with you. But before Drew started going over the lines, she started to try to give Candy some type of methods on how to prepare for, scripts and stuff like that. But it seemed like she took so long. She started saying all kind of stuff to the point where Candy was just rolling her eyes like, come on, Drew, really? Just read the lines. So in the next scene, Kenya, Sheree, Moneta, and Heath meet up because they're actually going to go on a catamaran. And so they get on the catamaran and they have a great time. Kenya actually is acting as the host. So she's putting on the Jamaican accent. So she's acting like she's Sanya. And it's super funny. So they got the crew there. They got music. They got drinks. And they're having a ball. So Sheree was talking about her fashion show that's coming up. So she's having a She by Sheree fashion show, which she switched to a presentation. But Kenya was saying, she'll model in that if she needs some models. So Kenya and Moneta, super cute. They started dancing and kind of like walking like they were on a catwalk modeling, and they started twerking and dancing and doing all kind of crazy stuff, having a good time. Sheree was like, she is not needing those type of models. She wants something classy. So it was fun and nice to see Moneta and her husband. I don't see them often in the scene, so when I do get a chance to see how they kind of get along and how their relationship is, it's super cool. But they had a great time, so they didn't miss a beat. So everyone actually had a great time on the catamaran. Now we're going to head on over to the Rose Hall. So everyone starts to come in and, sit down and get ready for dinner. But earlier, Sheree had pulled Sanya aside and let her know that she felt away from getting disinvited from the iFit photo shoot. And Sanya was like, no, we're not going to go there because, she was down there and, Sanya and Marlo were down there and Sheree and Kenya weren't. And she had to go. So she's telling Sheree she don't want to hear it. She's like, I don't want to hear it. Don't start that. But yeah, Sanya wasn't feeling that conversation that Sheree, was having. So everyone is sitting at the table and, they're enjoying themselves. So when everyone sat down, Sheree actually asked Ralph if he can read an excerpt from his book. And he was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. And he starts reading, reading from his phone. And at this time, we look at Drew, and it shows that Drew is tearing up because she's never actually heard or got a chance to read the book. Ralph didn't share anything with her. So this is the first time that she's hearing anything about what Ralph wrote in the book. So Drew is super excited, and she's also tearing up, because of what Ralph is sharing, about being a stepfather to her son. So it was nice to see that Drew, kind of felt like, the book is actually going to be something that's beneficial to them and it's not going to be hurtful. Because, with Ralph, you never know. So everybody was clapping for him and was like, oh, that's cool. Everybody thought that the excerpt that he read was really, really nice. So the book, turns out that the book is going to be okay. And next we see Sheree. Sheree always has to get the mess started. She can't just let everybody coast at the dinner table and just have a good time. So she leans on over to Kenya and she whispers to Kenya and she says, that Sanya says she didn't disinvite, us to the photo shoot. And, Sanya basically don't care. But, when Sheree explains things, she puts a 10 on it. So it's not ever explained the way it actually is. And so that kind of got Kenya started. So Kenya is like, so you said you didn't disinvite us, Sanya, to the photo shoot? And, Sanya was like, I didn't, basically. So yeah, so Sanya was just explaining, look, you guys weren't there in the lobby when it was time for me to go. And it's a work trip, so, hey, she just left. So Kenya was like, you know what? You could have at least called to check to see what happened because, me and Sheree were there. And she was like, it's funny how, basically Marlo ended up there when actually Sheree and Kenya were the ones invited to the shoot, but Marlo was the one there at the photo shoot. So she thought that was like kind of like, so, what was that about? And Sanya she didn't want to hear it. She was like, you know what? No. So Sheree chimed in and she was like, well, I felt like I was disinvited. And then Kenya, chimed in and was like, yeah, you should have you should have like checked on us. That's not okay. So at this time, I guess Ross, Sanya's husband, got upset because he stood up and he said, hold up. He's like, I don't play like that. Don't F with my wife. and everyone at the table was like, what? Like, you could see everyone's face. It was like, wait a minute. Is this dude just standing up addressing Kenya and Sheree? Come on, Ross. Really? That is a no-no. First of all, I don't understand. All it was a verbal back and forth. It wasn't anything physical. It wasn't even profanity being thrown back and forth. I don't understand. Like, I get you're a rookie and this is your first season. However, I'm sure you've watched past episodes, or your wife had. The men don't get in it. You know, when the ladies are having their back and forth, you guys need to sit down or walk away. If it's like too much for you to bear, because, you know, Sonya can't hold her own, you need to walk away. Or she don't need to be on the show. I felt like Ross was out of line. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the guys should get in the girls' back and forth, or their debates, or, you know, when they're sparring verbally? Do you think the men should stand up and curse and go all off? No, I don't think so. I thought it was too much. And basically that was the end of the episode. It stops there with Ross standing up over the ladies, like he stood up and, you know, like saying, "No F with my wife." So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the video and hit the notification bell. Because when you hit the notification bell, that lets you guys know when I drop another video. So that's very important. Hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.